claimed that were forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of the allegations.
Worship and the body politics should not participate in partisan politics.
Pakateka n'abakwata Digital, its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
Thank you for staying tuned and welcome to Liberation TV, the society program which comes to you every Wednesday from 18 to 19 hours, where we get to discuss key national issues affecting the people of Zambia. And this evening we're looking at the PF successes and failures in 2018, as well as the way forward in 2019, among other pertinent issues that are up for discussion this evening. And my guest is Reverend Jevan Kamanga, who is the secretary for the PF Information Committee, who's here to help us highlight some of the things that happened in 2018 and the forecast for 2019, and also be able to respond to your queries. In case you want to ask him a question, you can send your SMS to 0978 43 74 37, 0978 43 74 37. I'm your host, Lovely Kayombo. Reverend, welcome to the program once again.
Thank you very much, my brother, and good evening to the viewers.
Okay, I think like the title of the program itself.
Yes.
Before we go to other issues which I've mentioned, written on my list here, maybe try to also highlight how 2018 has been for the PF, and the things that they have scored and things that hope to achieve in 2019. Because I've seen a lot of people saying no, Boma can't give up, maybe try to highlight a number of issues that you feel the PF party and government has achieved in 2018 and the way forward in 2019.
All right. Thank you very much for this opportunity really to sit here to deliberate over issues that are very important to this nation. We need a country that is well informed. There's been too many lies going around in the country, too much propaganda, and people are out there. We have relatives all over the world. They're calling, sending SMS or WhatsApp, and is everything okay? We hear the country's on fire. We hear things are not okay. People are dying. There's a lot being said. But when you sit back and reflect and see what is going on, you realize that lies don't last long. There's a lot that this government or this country has achieved. Looking back at 2018 was a very interesting year. We had challenges, we had opportunities, but I can say we are on course as Patriotic Front, who have formed government. We are on course to make sure that we deliver on the things that we promised the people of Zambia. We began 2018 on a very bad note, on a sad note where we lost people through the disease of cholera. And we thank God that the president took initiative as quickly as possible. Otherwise, we would have lost many lives. If we had followed the normal procedures of let the council do this, let people do that, it was going to be very difficult. We would have lost many lives. But with the bringing on of the defense forces to come and help us here in Lusaka to clean up the streets, because that's where the hazards were coming from, that at least lessened the damage that could have been. When we got to a stage where the Hero Stadium became a main center for dealing with the issues of cholera. So even if that happened, at least we have a government that is caring for the people, that is able to take time to make sure that things are done appropriately, so that we lessen up the damage that could have been worse off, like in the areas like Anyama, Chawama, even in Ibex we had the issues and cases like that. But that was dealt with in good time. And we can see now the streets are clean in Lusaka. It's good to walk through Lusaka to see that you can freely walk without anyone bothering you, and the street vending issue has been sort of sorted out, and we believe that even what government promised, through that the street vendors just need to be a little bit patient. It will be achieved, and they'll definitely get which was promised to them. Now coming to the many things that we've scored as a government, we are focused. When we were campaigning in 2016, We did not campaign on the face of an individual, or maybe we did not, let me say we didn't campaign on the constitution of Zambia per se, although it's one of the major things, but we had a manifesto. But what funded the manifesto? Every political party were selling their manifesto. And people were buying to what we were telling them. When you vote us into power as Patriotic Front, we will deliver in the infrastructure department, we deliver roads, we deliver schools, we deliver hospitals, we deliver, even in the industries that are coming up, So we've been on course pursuing that. We also promised on the social and economic issues. We've been pursuing that. We promised on the reforms, the constitutional reforms, and these are the things, the Public Order Act, and all those reforms. We promised, and we've been pursuing all that stuff. So we have scored in many areas. I always say, if the PF government didn't take up this robust idea of bringing infrastructure development in terms of road network, Lusaka was going to come to a standstill one day. Look at the road network in Lusaka, the way it has been dealt with. Between the Hero Stadium and Kabangwe, look at the Bama roads and the Chilimburu, look at the Ring Road. The new project of decongesting Lusaka. When it started, people were saying, what is going on? What are these things they're putting up in Makeni? You saw, They're putting up the barricades, and all of a sudden, flyover bridges are coming up, and flyover roads are coming up. It is because we are focused on what we promised the people of Zambia to say we're going to do. Look at the water network, or the Millennium Challenge issue. We are so focused, it was dormant for some time, but then we realized, no, we have to push this thing. And that's why with the government of America started making certain demands, said, no, we have to achieve this. So we've been focused on making sure that our vision, our manifesto is fulfilled. It is from those things that people are going to judge us, to see if we've really delivered on what we promised them. Go to many places, I mean, the clinics that were about 20 kilometers from villages. All of a sudden, we're bringing those clinics near to the people. 5 kilometers walking distance. Our mothers were dying on the way because they are in their mother's way to deliver, because the hospitals were far off. All of a sudden, they're finding these clinics, so the hospitals near them. I was even telling people last time, say, look at the Chilenje Level 1 hospital, okay? It was a clinic, and it was congested, and it was filthy, and it was a pathetic sight to look at. People opted to go to private clinics. To don't go to Chilenje, go to Matero. Go to these other hospitals that are built all around the country. It's a marvel to see that we are realizing a Zambia that we've been dreaming of for so many years. So in terms of infrastructure, schools are being built where children used to walk to go and camp for 7 days. On a Sunday they will leave their villages, they'll go and camp somewhere, and then come back on a Friday. Some of them ended up getting tired, getting pregnant, having early marriages. All of a sudden, these things are now a talk of the past because schools are getting nearer and nearer to the people. And as things are happening like that, we can see from that angle of infrastructure, 100% we are on the right course of achieving that dream. On the issues like social issues, issues of bettering the lives of people. I was just telling some guys the other day how that we, the local people, the Zambians, are not seeing the opportunities that our friends are seeing from outside. There are so many opportunities. All of a sudden, because of KK International Airport, the weight is coming up. We have Ethiopian Airways, Kenyan Airways, Emirates, and now we have Turkish. And Zambian Airways is coming, by the way. They're coming direct to Lusaka. People from Congo, from Malawi, from these other countries, instead of going to South Africa where they used to go, they're now coming to Lusaka to board from here and take off from here. Tourism is improving every day. And it's not only tourism towards Victoria Falls. It's tourism, even the lodges and the ranches that have been put up around the country. The multi-facility zones that are being put up left, right, and center. All these things are things that we have scored as Patriotic Front. And we are saying we are creating an environment where people are finding jobs. We are creating an environment where people can do business. We are creating an environment where people can freely go about their lives. Yes, we may not reach everywhere at once, but we are on course and we are taking this step by step. So 2018 was very good. We saw the coming of the airlines I've just talked about. We saw the launching of the Levi Mwanawasa General Hospital, and very soon it will be finishing and it will be handed over as a teaching hospital. We have other entities that have come up, like look at the Lumumba Road. It's looking beautiful, and it is decongesting the Cairo Road and these other streets. We are on course. 2018 was a beautiful year. And people can complain and say, no, but still the cost of living and what and what. Look, I want to quote the scriptures. The Bible says, when Jesus was saying, the poor you always have. Poverty cannot be removed by a person or a government who comes in 2%. I'm coming to remove poverty from your home. What governments do is they create an enabling environment. To remove poverty from your home, it is what you do. How you budget your time. How you time yourself. What effort do you put in, maybe if it's agriculture. It won't break a bone to go and do 1 lima or even half a hectare of maize or sweet potatoes or whatever. You take your produce, go and sell and make money, generate some income from there. So the government is creating an enabling environment. These roads, people say, roads are making accessibility to the market very easy. Somebody gave us an example. From Lusaka to Luangwa in Feira, it used to take sometimes 2 or 3 days because the roads were bad. But because of the beautiful road from Lusaka to Feira, my brother, you can start off at 06 by 8, 9 o'clock. You are in Feira. You do your buying of fish there, you buy your merchandise there. By evening or so, you'll be back in Lusaka. And your commodities will not go to waste because you have spent so much time on the road. So the roads are making it easier to do business. They're making it easier to access the market. They're making it easier for movement and also for safety of the things that we're using. Our roads are safe now. Why? Because instead of our vehicles getting damaged because of the potholes and all that stuff, all of a sudden at least it's taking longer for people to change spares on their vehicles. I know some areas we are not yet here, but we are going. We'll soon reach these areas. Yes, sir.
Now, there have been allegations of corruption. You've said that there's been massive infrastructure development across the country.
Yes.
Now, we have seen even citizens saying that some of these projects, exorbitant, fees that are charged or quoted.
Yes.
And there have been these allegations of massive corruption in the PF regime. Maybe also your comment on that.
Well, the issues of corruption, you know what is sad with that crusade? It's just a political crusade. I would love to see a situation where an individual says there is corruption and there is evidence. Because this country is governed by laws. This is not a kangaroo country, it's governed by laws. Definitely if somebody is committing crime, we have the Anti-Corruption Commission in this country. We have the Drug Enforcement Commission. We have the Zambia Police. We have the other entities that deal with the issues of corruption. You as a Zambian, you have every right. If you find somebody is involved in corruption, you have every right to open up a case against such a one. So, yes, the crusade has been there, and mostly the people that have been talking about corruption are those who are doing politics, and the majority in the opposition. And you can tell that their crusade, several times even the head of state has told them, gentlemen, you are accusing my ministers, please bring evidence. Because I'm not just going to fire people because you have said, give me evidence, I'll be able to do that. You see? But because it is just politics, no one has come across or has come forward to say, here's the evidence. All we see is speculation. All we see is uninformed positions. That's why I said in my opening remarks that we need to be careful with lies that have taken place in this country. It's just in the past few days, how many lies have been told? The first lie was about the teacher recruitment program. People went before cameras and were saying things that were so dividing, so divisive in this country. No, from Northwestern Province, this government has only picked 19 people. From Southern Province, they've picked 27 people. From this province, Western Province, they've picked about 16 people. Whereas they tried to blow up the figures for Northern Province, 500, this other province, 300. And they wanted to paint a picture where the people of Zambia will be apprehensive and they start throwing stones. But when the Teaching Service Commission came on board, I mean, they came out and said, look, what you are hearing are lies. And they gave us the correct figures. Of the 10 provinces, my brother, the numbers are ranging from 190 to 230. So there's no country that has been shortchanged. So there's no province that has been shortchanged. Every province has been considered adequately. All right? So the lies are the ones that are going around. Now, after the truth has been told by the Teaching Service Commission, have you heard them from the opposition? Our friend James Rukuk, have you heard him come to say, I apologize, I didn't have my facts straight? No, they don't do that. Because their mission is to score political mileage, to lie through their teeth, so that somebody can be misguided and possibly believe them and hopefully give them a vote. But we cannot afford to take that vote. There's time for politicking. There's time for building the nation. When people talk about corruption, we have seen some cases. I don't want to talk about specific cases where at least some evidence has been provided. And you've seen people being suspended. You've seen people being fired. You've seen people being investigated. What more do you want? Surely, do you want the president to say when Brother Kayombo comes and say, no, Kamanga is corrupt? The president said, Kamanga, get out, you are corrupt. No. Prove to the president, prove to ACC, prove to these institutions, oh, Kamanga is corrupt, this is what happened. And then they will investigate. And when they found guilty, because one of the governing laws of arresting and charging somebody is that you are innocent until proven guilty. So the crusade of corruption, yes, it is going to continue. That is meat for the UPND and those in the opposition. But we as government, the president, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, will not tolerate corruption. He will not tolerate. You have seen some actions he's taken when his head has been mischief. How many people have been fired? Some of the people actually just ran away before they were even fired. When it was hinted to them, by the way, ACC is investigating you, they ran away and formed their political parties. And then they started throwing stones back at PF. You are corrupt. Don't mind. The law will catch up with such people. So, yes, people can accuse us, and for me as a clergy, I wouldn't support corruption whatsoever. My president will not support corruption. The Chief Executive Office of the party, Mr. Davis Mwila, our Secretary General, will not support corruption. The Central Committee will not support corruption. This government, Anti-Corruption Commission, Drug Enforcement Commission, Zambia Police will not support corruption. You've seen there was a time that some people were being corrupt on the road. Honorable Boma Lusambo went and caught some people on the road. We mean business. But please, those who want to throw stones, let them give us evidence so that we build this nation together. It will not serve any purpose to just brand somebody corrupt when you have no evidence, just for the purpose of scoring political money. It won't help us. Even these projects that have been given, we have entities that are put in place. You cannot get a road contract just from RDA. You sit with RDA, with whoever, oh, I need a road contract, and they give it to you. There's a process, my brother. And the tendering process of this country has been handed into the hands of the Zambia ZPPA, Zambia Procurement Agency, Authority. Yes. That entity scrutinizes each and every application. When you want to tender for a road or for a clinic, for building of a hospital, trust me, that entity is going to scrutinize and give to the rightful person, somebody who qualifies. This afternoon we heard on the news, there are some people who were doing projects in Rufwanyama, and they've left the projects, the materials are still there, and they've run away without informing the necessary authorities. The permanent secretary for the Copper Belt, Mr. Nundwe, has actually said he has given an ultimatum to these people to get back and explain why they disappeared from their workplaces. And if they are found wanting, I mean, the heads will know. That's simple. You cannot get money to do a project and you fail to do it. That is theft. The government has got structures in place to make sure that such issues are dealt with in that manner. And I wish that the people of Zambia would follow and work with government. Work with government to say, look, government, we have this guy here, he's not doing a good job, can you come and help us? And government to move in. We've heard of contracts that have been withdrawn or have been taken away from people, simply because you want to do the best for this country. This is what our president aims for. This is what our government aims for. Now, if we have people who are trying to throw in spanners to curtail the work, to jeopardize the work, even then the law will visit them. At the end of some people accusing certain people, these matters are in court. All of a sudden they want to go and withdraw matters in court. No, in the spirit of reconciliation, let us withdraw this matter. No, brother. You accused us. Why do you want to withdraw? Let's go ahead, let's proceed. Because you accused us and you didn't have facts. Now that we've put you in a tight corner to say, can you give us evidence? You are failing, now you want to withdraw a case. The damage has been done. So let's see who is right and who is wrong. It will not help this country to continue throwing stones. There's corruption when no one is coming up with evidence. Who are we killing? We are killing our own children. We are killing our own future. We are killing a better Zambia that is being built by our assertions. Let us be factual. Let us be truthful. Let us do politics in a more civilized manner, where people can buy into our message based on what we are promising, not on tarnishing somebody's name just because I want to score political mileage. No, it doesn't work like that.
Okay. Now coming to the issue of the youth empowerment project, remember some times back, the later President Michael Sata with IGA, they did launch at the State House the bus project, and we saw that the Minister of Transport did withdraw about 25 buses, and some of them are non-runners. And I think maybe try to share some light. What happened to those youth empowerment project where given some higher buses?
Yes.
Which was supposed to help empower the young people in this country. And so far, I think we've not seen any report regarding how that project has gone.
Okay.
Who benefited? We don't know. And what happened to those that are non-running? Yes. So maybe try to shed more light on that, because people have been pointing fingers to say, no, that one benefited from that project. We didn't get any benefit. Just try to shed some light on who benefited from that project, what happened, and where we are now.
All right. I think government means well. Government means well in the sense of trying to empower its people. There are so many projects that government has initiated to empower people. There are empowerment projects for the disabled. There are empowerment projects for women. There are empowerment projects for youth. There are empowerment projects for SMEs. There are so many empowerment projects. And as such, when these projects are put across, they come with certain expectations. They come with certain requirements. And the bottom line on the qualification to participate in these projects is that you are Zambian. First of all, to dispel a rumor that is being peddled by our friends from the opposition, the UPND. This young man, Otis Walia, who's going around telling people, no, it was a project for the PF. Now bring those buses to UPND so that we can show you out. I think that is misleading the nation. This is what I've been talking about. Let us be factual. Let us be truthful. The buses were given to the youth of Zambia, regardless of their political affiliation. There's a young man from Livingstone who came on many media houses here in Lusaka and right there in Livingstone, who testified to say, I belong to a political party, and even the political party, UPND. I belong to UPND and I am a beneficiary of this project. I've got a bus, all right? So these buses, of course, were open to every Zambian so that they can benefit. Now, I don't want to go into the details because I know the matter is still being investigated or it's being assessed to see how best we can handle it. Those buses meant to empower the people of Zambia, the youth. The buses meant to help people get out of poverty. The buses meant to help people at least graduate from just this issue of doing business as usual to going outside the box, thinking outside the box in doing this business. So the government went well. Now, whether people were faithful in servicing the loans, remember that the loans that were secured for these buses, 50% was being paid by government. The other 50% was supposed to be paid by the people themselves who got the buses through their profits. Business proposals were projected, were given forth. And based on the business proposals, people were given these buses. And it seemed so viable and seemed so good. But I think the attitude most of us have here in Zambia is very bad when it comes to what we call free things. It's very, very bad. Yes, the assessment is being done. Some of the buses are non-running. Some of them are running. but it doesn't project that therefore every youth in Zambia cannot run this business just because a few maybe have failed. What we need to do is to get back to the drawing board, to sit down. How best can we deal with this project of the Haiga buses? How best can we handle this? But we need suggestions. For me, one of the suggestions I'll give is when you look at the way Sinozam, you remember Sinozam, there was a financial lending institution that came, which was giving a small, microfinance to people, marketeers and small businesses. And I remember in Rwansha, they will bring about 4 or 5 businessmen, small businessmen and women. They put them together, and then they'll tell them, look guys, we're willing to give you this money, but it's going to be taken as group money. So when paying, you have to pay together as a group. So if one individual defaults amongst you, you have to cover for that person, but then you encourage that person to pay back within the specified time. Maybe those are some of the suggestions we needed to run these Haiga buses instead of individuals servicing the loans. Now, already we were told by this time they could have paid 20 million, but only 4 million has been paid. Meaning there's some commitment of some kind that has been coming, but maybe they need more training. Just because they were given one training, one capacity building training, it doesn't mean now they've got it all. Business is very difficult. There are many conditions that go with the running business. So all that is being investigated, and once findings have been made, I think it will be made public to every one of us. But the truth is our young people need help. They need empowerment in whatsoever way, in whatsoever means. They need empowerment. These buses are a good project. Let's find ways, take politics aside, let's find ways in which we can help our people to handle these issues.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You're still watching the Society, which comes to you every Wednesday. And to have your comments, you can send your SMS to 0978 43 74 37, 0978 43 74 37. Don't try to call, we're only getting SMSs, and we are looking at the PF failures and success in 2018, among other topics that are lined up for discussion this evening. And my guest is Reverend Jovan Kamanga, who's the Secretary for the PF Information Committee, who's just here to help us discuss and get your questions and answer them accordingly. So remember, the number is 0978 43 74 37, 0978 43 74 37. People are trying to call but cannot pick those phone calls. Just try to send the SMSs and be able to read and be able to respond to your queries. So don't try to call on the line on your screen, but just send us your SMSs and be able to read them right here, and the guest will be able to respond to some of your questions. Now, coming to the issue of defections, Reverend.
Yes, sir.
I've been a concern that the PF is paying these people to join the ruling party. Are those sessions correct? Because we saw the 3 from FTD,
yes, sir.
The National Treasurer, Dr. Mwelwa,
yes,
with the other 2 who
yes.
joined PF last some few days. And are you paying those people to join the PF?
This is very funny. Yes, politics is about numbers. But if you are going to make numbers by paying people, then you are lying to yourself. The Deputy Secretary General, Honorable Mumbipiri, yesterday at the defection actually made it categorical. There were 3 councillors from Mpika, Central Province, I think is it Kapirimposh as well, who called her to say, Madam, we want to defect. How much money are you going to pay us? And they were shocked when they were told, who told you we pay people to defect? So they were disappointed because they've been hearing these rumors. Now, the problem with lies is this. When somebody is lying about something over and over again, it takes to have a dressing of the truth. Or maybe it's true they pay money. So someone gathers up the courage and says, okay, madam, I want to defect, pay me. We don't pay people. Can you buy a person for God's sake? You can't. You can't. Patriotic Front, to start with, we want to make sure people join us because of what they are seeing us doing. Look at the people that joined us yesterday. Dr. Mwelwa is not, sorry to use this word, he's not a pauper. He's not one man who's languishing on the streets and he's got no money and is desperate. No, he's one man who is, as we're speaking, is a deputy, is a vice chancellor of an institution. He's a doctor. Not even doctor, wakwatio mpeniko 5 pin kwa mpeniko ku doctor. And so tomorrow wako mpeniko na a doctor. No. He is an academician, educated. The other gentleman you saw, who was a former, I think he wanted to stand on the FDD ticket here in Kabwatwa as MP, is also an lecturer at the same institution. The other gentleman is was a provincial chairman for Central Province. These are high caliber people. Surely, for the sake of money, the people can leave those positions. What money? Is it money that can sustain them for how long? When our friends in the opposition don't have anything to say, they'll find every excuse. They'll find every excuse. They'll lie about anything. Instead of them sitting back to say, guys, why are we losing members? Let's sit back and reflect and find out why we are. This is free information I'm giving them. They need to sit back. Me, I can tell you from the onset. Many people from these political parties who are defecting to us are simply saying we are, number one, top on the agenda is the fact that they have seen that Patriotic Front means well and is delivering. The second thing, most of them, is that where they are coming from, the structures are not democratic. The presence of these political parties who have been there for Muyayaya, there's a lot of infighting and tribalism going on there. When they accuse us, yes, sometimes these people believe the accusations, but later on they realize, actually, what they are saying is not true about PF. You know the principle of telling the Umuanat, don't touch the stove, you are going to burn yourself. Don't touch the stove, you are going to burn yourself. All you are doing is you are sending the child to go and test, to go and investigate. So this is what's happening. So the more the opposition is throwing stones at us, the more their members are thinking, okay, at first they'll believe, then they start thinking, okay, but we've said these things for quite some time now. Let me find out if this is true. When they come to find out, they realize it's not true. Then they say, no. I think I better join the winning team. The team that is building this country. We're having a dream Zambia. Look at the influence. Look at Lusaka. Lusaka is looking beautiful. The colleague who came from UK just a few weeks ago, he got lost. Just coming to Livala, going to Chilenje, where there were potholes, there was gravel roads. He can't trace where he used to stay. Let's be proud of our country. Let's be proud of our country. If people feel, now this is the freedom that we have, this is the democracy we fought for. If people feel Patriotic Front is delivering, I want to be part of a winning team, why not? We don't need to go and buy people. We don't need to. People are just coming freely.
Okay.
Atuye Isula, then come 2021, we beat them, then they said, no, they rigged. But they are seeing the numbers of people coming. Yes, that. Come on, somebody help me. Patriotic Front means well. It's getting attractive every day. Others are wishing our president ill, spreading false information about our president, about our party, about the same issues of corruption. But when people find out the truth, they say, it doesn't mean he was just lying about these people. Let me go work with them. They are welcome to Patriotic Front.
So do you think PF is still popular from 2016? And does 2021 make you scared? And I think some parties have formed an alliance to try and seat the PF in 2021. Now, do you think the PF is still popular as compared to 2016 or maybe 2011 when they formed the government, and 2016? And we're having this alliance which has come on board to try and seat the PF.
Okay.
Now, does that scare the PF? Or do you have any misgivings to say?
Scared of the alliance?
2021, yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the alliance. Yeah, anyway, the beauty of democracy is that the people have the freedom to choose to belong. Of the 10 political parties that have come together, UPND has a following. Help me, my brother, go step by step assessing each and every political party that has joined the alliance. Some of them are Nasharaneka party, some of them are me, myself and I, and some have got a few people that they have around them for whatever reason. Even if they were to come the way they've come, they cannot unseat Patriotic Front. They can't. That is a guarantee, that's a given. They can't. Is PF popular? Is PF losing popularity? Now, again, I will tell you, in the morning, you wake up, there's a lot of lies that are spread, and people sort of try to lose confidence. And then by the time it's in the afternoon, people learn the truth, I'll give you a very typical example. This morning there was some radio station that was discussing an issue on the travels of the First Lady to an extent where some people lied and concocted some messages to say they are coming from somebody who's representing the First Lady's office about the travels to the US. And you know, we've told you media houses that if any communication does not come from State House on a headed paper, treat it as what? Rubbish. Treat it as rubbish. But the media house, I mean, they were playing on this and the people believed it. And when communication came from Mr. Amos Chanda, the presidential spokesperson, when he came and he set the record straight, everyone is quiet. So in the morning they were lies, in the afternoon the truth is known. Who is winning at the end of the day? So when they tell lies, no, PF. When the truth is told, so much of a peshaji. But who is this guy who's lying? And unfortunately, liars hide when the truth is revealed. PF is getting popular. We have challenges here and there. Running a country is not simple. That is why when Solomon was appointed as king in the Bible, Solomon was asked by God to ask of anything. He could have asked for 1,000 years, having learned that people in the past used to live to 970. He could have asked for long life. He could have asked for more money. He could have asked for the 700 women he had, or the 300. He could have asked for anything. But Solomon asked for wisdom. Those seeking public office today need to ask for wisdom. Because sometimes what they say or do, they think they can destroy the country which is loved by God. They are ending up becoming enemies with God. So Patriotic Front is becoming popular every day. We have challenges here and there, because we have, for the first time I think in the history of this country, our opposition, sorry to say this, is a sorry sight. I wish, even when Basata was in the opposition, when Mazoka was in the opposition, may so rest in peace. You remember that President Mazoka, at one point in time, drew up a budget, a national budget, which caused the President Levi Manawasa, may so rest in peace, bring on board the budget that came from UPND. And he took ideas and he made sure, because they meant well. Where is that kind of opposition gone to? Most of the opposition, if they are not insulting the president, they are insulting Comrade Sandichad. If not, they are insulting this minister or that person. Then they'll tell you, no, you are poor, look at your stomach, you are defending them because you are eating. What am I eating? I love this country. I love this country to allow, not to allow lies to take center stage. So we need to be patriotic. Let us help Patriotic Front to deliver. When they deliver, it will save our lives. It will save our families. It will save our communities. It will save this nation. That is what is important. Your name one day will disappear as a political leader of a political party. Your name one day will be brushed off the calendars of life. This country must continue. It must continue. So I must not be selfish, too selfish to make sure I paint a picture. PF is becoming unpopular. Now we are winning. This is the message that in 2015. Oh, now we have got presidents. They've given us Edgar Lungu. And he walk over. And the helicopters all over. And the people went to the ballot box. Edgar Lungu won. They cried foul, they cried foul. No, rigging, no, what? Edgar Lungu can't beat me. No, it's the people that have spoken. You were doing your PVT. We're doing your PVT. We've got the results. They came 2016, they put up more lies. Even people from PF defected and went to UPND to just consolidate lies there. But the truth always prevails. And Edgar Lungu won. They've tried to destroy this man. They've tried left, right, and center. He's a foreigner. He's a what? He is not this person. They've tried, but God preserves his own. PF is becoming popular. I can guarantee on that. Yes, we are aware that the lives of our people are not where we want them to be. That is why we're working hard. We want to make sure every family is able to afford 3 meals a day. We want to make sure every family is able to take their children to school. We want to make sure that the unemployed are employed. That is why the empowerments are coming in when there's no jobs. Well, that's why there's these presidential initiative funds to make sure that we at least mitigate where we're not reaching. We want to we are on course. And trust us as a government and as a party. We mean well. Those who are lying to say what, let them continue lying. Because come 2021, again the people will assess us. They will say, no, we've been following. There's a recent survey that was done, and it wasn't done by SPF, or neither was it done by UPND or people. It was done by international people, well-respected organization. I wish I had the freedom to mention their name. You know, where the people were saying, no, some people are complaining, things are not okay, the cost of living is high. But when they asked a question, would you vote PF out of power based on that? They say, no, these guys are delivering. Let's give them chance. Can you vote for the opposition? The opposition are just too petty. You know, they are under fives. This is what people are saying on the streets. We are getting better every day.
Okay. Now, coming to the issue of the farmer input support program and the e-voucher.
Yes.
There was some, confusion with the two. And I think this farming zone, they're trying to implement both systems to see if the farmers can be helped. How do you rate, the performance of these two, systems? And also farmers that supplied maize to FRA, there's that rate payment of, their monies after supplying to FRA. As PF, how are you trying to handle this problem?
Let me start from the beginning. Farmer Input Support Program, again, a very good program that was put up to help our farmers. From the onset, the FISIP was supposed to win off people. Okay? Take people who are vulnerable, take people who cannot afford, give them this program, let them run with it for 3-4 years, max 5 years. Afterwards, they should be able to stand on their own. Good program, very good program. But between you and me, this program, instead of benefiting the people it intended to benefit, it ended up benefiting the people who are already rich. People already have money. So here's the Brother Kayombo. He's got a commercial farm and he's got so many hectares. So Brother Kayombo will go to his wife and say, sweetie, I want you to register on FISIP. He will tell his 4 children, register on FISIP. He will tell his neighbors, he will tell his uncles, his aunties. 15 people register as individuals. And he's the guy to pay the money. When they collect all that stuff, they come to Kayombo. And Kayombo takes all the packages and goes and does his commercial farming. That was not the intention of government. The intention was to give the vulnerable people who could not afford. So, the e-voucher system was designed to deal with such culprits. These things, let's talk about them. Let's not pretend we know these things. Okay? When the e-voucher system was introduced, when you punch in your name as Lovely Kayombo, farmer number 250, your package is 1. Your package has to come as you have applied. All of a sudden, when we had the FISIP, a huge number of people registered on FISIP. On the e-voucher, we realized that it went down. We asked questions why. It proved our suspicions that some people are using other people to collect stuff on their behalf. Now, the e-voucher, when it came, it did not limit itself to the FISIP structure of just getting fertilizer and the seeds. The e-voucher system went outside the box to talk about plows, to talk about tractors, to talk about any variety of seed or any commodity you want to apply yourself to. And so we had a 50-50, approach to it. Some people are very happy, some people are not sure. And of course, when something is new, there are always these hiccups, the teething stages, okay? Now, what is very interesting is that when some people started crying foul, no, this e-voucher is not working. Please remove it, take it away. Okay? So we as a government, as a listening government, said, okay, listen, the people are complaining. So before we take everything away, let's do a pilot project. Let's remove e-voucher from this area that certain areas were selected. And I know one particular area in Eastern Province where after they removed the e-voucher system, the same people who seem to have been complaining in Eastern Province, and why have you removed the e-voucher system? Who told you to remove? This is a very good program. So who was talking about it not being good? Maybe it's the same people who were benefiting on top of their maybe they're the ones who were complaining because they knew that were being their schemes were now known, were laid bare. All of a sudden, I've come to realize that actually e-voucher is a very good system because it does not restrict you to a few commodities. It gives you can walk into agro dealers that are spread all over the country and you pick whatever you want and you love. your issues sorted out. So, e-voucher system, yes, we've had the teething problems, but I think we are now becoming experts at it, and we are getting over it. The same survey I was talking about, my brother, this e-voucher system was brought out, and some of the things I've just shared came from that same survey. You go on the ground to Petauke, you realize that now, because we have reverted to FISIP there, the people don't want FISIP because they know the limitations of FISIP. So, government means well. Government wants to make sure that people have variety. People have an opportunity to do what they want. You want to grow cotton, please go ahead. You want to do groundnuts, please go ahead. You want to do maize, you want to do aquaculture with the fish, you want to do goat farming, you want to do village chickens. And all. That e-voucher system gives you an opportunity to explore the possibilities that are out there. So let us not listen to these doomsayers, these haters of this country. These people are trying to find fault with government in everything. For God's sake, let's find people who can say, look, on this one you guys have scored. How can we come alongside to help you? That's why I say, do we need an opposition that is objective? There's a political party I used to belong to before I came back to Patriotic Front. When I was there, we were so focused on being an issue-based political party. And time after time, even the government of the day would call us, no, you guys come, let's talk, give us ideas. Certain ideas that were floated, and the president then, the late Michael Chifyasata, would say, because he was seeing sense in what we're doing, and we're being objective. Show me one political party today in the opposition that is objective. Except maybe for a few who have realized, no, I think let's go alongside government and work with government. Some few political parties have rallied around the Patriotic Front, and they're telling us, no, we'll support your president, but when our turn comes, we will also stand. But as of now, you are doing a good job, we'll stand with you, we'll support you, we'll work with you. That is how it is supposed to be. That is how we need to mature our democracy. That's where we need to get. Yes, sir.
Now, coming to the issue of the 20% subcontracting, the Minister of Housing and Infrastructure, Honorable Stotera,
yes,
even at a briefing at Christmas during the PF forum, and also when he appeared on the NBC government forum, did mention that the president has directed him to make the 20% subcontracting legal, and he said they should start a process of coming up with an SI that maybe also seeks to increase from 20 to 30%. Now again, there's a concern where some Zambian contractors are given these tenders to do some works,
yes,
and they sell them to some Chinese contractors who have a lot of contracts going on in this country.
Yes.
Maybe on two things here: making the subcontracting legal vis-a-vis Zambian contractors selling these tenders to the Chinese.
The Chinese. All right. Let me say again, I'll keep repeating myself. Government means well. We could have left status quo, okay, we have given this project to this company, go ahead and do it. Government means well, and they said, no. In as much as we've given you these contracts, we realize that our people may not have the capacity to do these contracts, but we cannot just leave them on the shelves. Let's start with the 20%. Let's subcontract some of your work. Or you, the winners of this tender or this project, you need to subcontract it to the local people, the Zambians. There are many positive reports I can give you. Just here in Lusaka, go on this Musotinya Road and the Lake Road. We have young people who are just found within Chalala and Ribala who have been subcontracted there, and they are doing a good job. A good job. I don't want to get into the private issues, but because of the way they've been doing a good job, guess what has happened? That company, the Indian company, they are willing to extend from the 20% to something bigger because they are faithful. They do quality jobs. So there are many positive reports. On the Copper Belt, you have the Small Miners Association of Zambia. They've also got very positive reports there. Very positive reports. Go through their CEO, Chanikunda. You see what they are doing. They are very good reports. The other day, some guy from the opposition said some wrong things about the Black Mountain. But this guy from the Small Miners Association came out and said, no, you're misleading the nation. This is what you've done. This is what you've done. This is what you've done. Positive things. In the midst of the positive things, of course, there could be negative things. And those negative things we have to look out for. Those negative things we have to deal with. Those negatives, we have to make sure that we get rid of them. All right? Now, the challenge that we are now getting here is that some people, after they get the 20%, they fail to work, then they subcontract, they sell the contracts again to the Chinese. I think that is wrong. And if people are found to be doing that, the minister has guided. Such people will have those contracts withdrawn from them and given to people who genuinely work. The young people I'm talking about here in Mosatunya Road, they have employed, I don't know how many people they've employed from within. Young people who are doing drainages, they're doing culverts, they're doing the supply of the asphalt and all that stuff. So we have people that are doing a good job. Those who don't mean well, who just want to make a quick buck, get a contract, sell it over, those we don't want. We want people to make sure when by the time they are starting, if they have grade 4 with NCC, after 2 or 3 projects, they grow from grade 4 to grade 3 or to grade 2, and they become big contractors. And at the end of the day, they'll be able to take up these many projects that are coming. Link 8000 is a big project, and it is not going to finish soon. It's still coming. I'm looking forward to a time, maybe 3, 4, 5 years from now, we'll have local people taking up these big projects we are looking at. Mumbo Kasempa Road, taken up by Zambians. I know it's already been given to somebody else, but I'm looking forward to a time when Zambians are going to be given these big projects. Building up Levi Mwanawasa, something like that. A new hospital in Kasempa, a new hospital in Ivobwe, that is being built by Zambians. Looking forward to that. So, such kind of deals where people are misguiding themselves, hiding behind the fact that they're calling themselves contractors, but they can't do anything and subcontract the same people who have given us the 20%, that will not take kind. It's the same as people who are getting the money, getting the project, then they go to the site and leave the site. There are some people in government who are being pursued. They got money when they were ministers. They went to apply, they're going to build a school. Go to the site, not even a single block is there. And they are busy calling others corrupt, others thieves. We want them to go back and finish the project. Otherwise, the arm of the law will visit them. That's what we want for this country.
Okay. I think in a few minutes, many want you to address key issues. I think we have about 6 minutes.
Okay.
I think we can address them in 4 minutes.
All right.
One, the issue of the new tax regime undermines threatening to lay off workers. Then also the issue of the dialogue process. There's a confusion of who should attend that meeting. And you know, the ZCID through Mr. Jackson Slavu did say that any party is free to nominate anyone to attend that meeting. Now we have, you know, concerns to say might end up having PF MPs also being part of you know, the meeting, and some are saying that the president in that case will not even attend, like Mr. Sandy Chanda said on Sunday, that if that's the case, then they either prefer to send an intercity branch chairman to go and attend that meeting. So those two issues: one, the threats by the mines to lay off their workers, and this confusion about who should attend the dialogue meeting, which is that's I think a few days from today.
All right, it's on Friday actually. Let me start with the mines issue. Very important topic. Zambia generates its income from taxes. All of us are paying tax in one or the other. It's criminal for the mining giants to try and run away from tax that government is demanding. There was, I think, another survey that was done, a report that was given, and Zambia is within the brackets. There are people that are charging 35% out there. What is criminal is the fact that you've seen me, I think, in the media today, that the boss of the same company that is saying they will lay off people in this country, in India, is pushing for the mining taxes to be increased to 25%, but is refusing to pay in this country. Is that okay? Is that normal? I don't think it's normal. I don't think it's fair. There was a time that some man was being funny at KCM, and he tried to challenge government. You remember the late President Michael Sata? He had him deported. We are not here to play games. You are taking our minerals, taking our copper, our gold, our platinum, our manganese, then you want to take everything for free. And in the first place, these people are given tax breaks. They had a period of 5, some of them 7 years concessions. But now when the government says, okay, now that the concessions are over, we can see you are making profits, Now we want to implement this tax regime on the mines. Then they want to send a lay off. I thank God that the Minister of Mines the other day gave a strong warning on the copper belt. He said their threats are null and void. Their retrenchments are null and void. Let them try. We are not short of investors. If they have failed to run those mines, let them leave. We hear they want to go to Parliament to do their works. Let them leave. We will have, even this government, I mean, ZCCM used to run these mines. We can still run them if we want. But because we want to create this environment where since we belong to a global village, we have our people investing in other countries, let them come and invest, but let them not dictate to us. When we know in other countries they are keeping quiet, they are paying without complaining, why should they complain here? We have heard how they are externalizing the profits, 100% externalizing the profits. Some of the incentives they're given, why should they fail to pay tax? These issues, for us, I think as Patriotic Front, we are saddened to hear that even people from the opposition are trying to stand with the miners, also with the mining giants. This is the kind of opposition we have, who fail to look at the interests of the people of Zambia. Government takes a stance, we are going to do, no, don't do that. No, it's not good for business. Government said, let's discuss, let's dialogue. No, they have complaints about everything. So, in terms of the mining tax, as government and as people of Zambia, let's support government in this one. Okay. Let's make sure we take this tax that belongs to the people of Zambia. On the issue of dialogue. In the first place, my brother, there was no need for dialogue in this country. It's because some individuals they felt offended or they were embittered when they lost elections. One individual even wanted to outrun the presidential motorcade, landed himself in problems. The church wanted to talk to the president, and the certain things were agreed upon. Then we had the Commonwealth coming in. I remember one day at the airport, the president was going, I don't know what country was going to. That's when he brought up this issue of dialogue. Look, since people are saying there's issues, that maybe let's go to dialogue. Let the church lead. Let the church help us have this dialogue. The idea of dialogue came from President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Now, in this country, like I said, we are governed by laws. We have what we call Zambia Center for Inter-Party Dialogue. This is an institution that was formed I think in 2002 by political parties to try and mitigate the challenges amongst the political parties. It was supported by the Netherlands Institute of Multi-Party Democracy. 2006, they even set up a secretariat. Now they are a registered entity, and they are legally registered in this country. As long as for 7 years UPND was chair for ZCID, ZCID was a credible institution. When that chairmanship was taken out from UPND, all of a sudden, ZCID is not credible. This dialogue, number one, must go on. It's a national dialogue. Even if it's a national dialogue, there are conditions. Otherwise, let all 17 million people gather and meet. So the conditions that are set, since they're political in nature, we are dealing with the constitutional reforms, electoral reforms, Public Order Act, judicial reforms, 4 major issues. They're all surrounding politics. Then the platform would be, let's invite all political parties, and the invitation is stated as President and Secretary General to attend. Now, when is it NDC or CDN or whatever it is called, Kambwe wants to come and attend. At the same time, Kambwe is calling himself a PF member. He has taken us to court when we fired him. He's still insisting he's PF. Now he wants to come through the back door, through NDC. What is that? Kala wants to come back, is still a member of parliament for Patriotic Front. In what capacity is he coming back? That's why we are insisting. If we are going to give credence to this dialogue, let's follow what you've been guided by both the church as Zambia Center for Inter-Party Dialogue. President, Secretary General. If they want to nominate anyone, please let's not cause confusion. Nominate somebody who is not a member of another political party. That is confusion. That is pure confusion. Then you don't mean well for this dialogue. Okay. That's what I can say.
Okay. I think you've elaborated more. I think people have heard what you said.
Thank you.
That time has not been on our side. Time seems to move so fast when we are discussing so many issues. And
yes,
thank you very much for finding time to come.
No, thank you, sir. Thank
you. This has been The Society, which comes to you every Wednesday from 18 to 19. My guest was Reverend Jivan Kamanga, who is the Secretary for PF Information Committee, looking at the PF achievements in 2018 as well as the focus for 2019. This has been Alvin Kayombo. See you next week. God bless you and good night.
They claimed that we had forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of the